Hi, my name is Rafi Ahmed. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for sass and bide MARCS I David Lawrence. And I'll be speaking at the Finance Transformation Summit in Brisbane on the 20th of February next year, 2024. 2024 is going to be a really big year for a lot of companies in Australia. There's been a lot of change globally and also just in the domestic market with regards to what's happening with our consumers and what's happening with our economy. So the CFO plays a really big role in guiding the business through these uncertain times. So CFO is one of the big positions or responsibilities for a CFO is kind of being that steady level through uncertain times. But at the same time, you've got to keep up with what's happening. So right now, what have we got going on in the world? We've got big AI push, a lot of technology advancements. So it's really important for the CFOs to adopt these new technologies and then leverage them and transform them into your business. It's really important going forward that we stay ahead of the game. That kind of segues into like data-driven decision making and providing insights to the broader business. The traditional role of the CFO was a gatekeeper for the financial metrics, making sure the reporting was correct. But I think going forward, it's more of a future-looking role. So being able to take large volumes of data, using technology to interpret that data to aid with decision making is actually a key skill set that needs to be grown in 2024, I think. Some of the other things that are going to be really big factors, which everybody's talking about now, ESG reporting and understanding the impact of ESG factors on your business and to incorporate sustainable practices into your financial decision making and also into your business as you go forward. You can't do this in a 0 to 100 approach, so it's just taking small steps to get to an end goal that your stakeholders would want you to get to. The other thing that's really important, I think, now, and CFOs really need to get on board the bandwagon with, is social media. So we live in a world right now that is driven by social media, and it's important for CFOs to kind of guide the companies that they oversee into this digital age, into this age of staying relevant on the social platforms. Transformation is always like an interesting topic because a lot of it comes back to buy-in. It's a very simple basis. You need to get the buy-in of your key stakeholders that are going to be impacted by any transformation project that you're taking on board. But you also need the buy-in of potentially the owners or the investors to basically show them what this transformative project, whatever it is going to produce in terms of value creation in the future. For a CFO, one of the most important challenges is resource allocation. So how do I marry up the company's strategic view in the future and where they want to be in the future with the resources available, and what type of project can we implement in between to get us to that end goal? So at the top, it really starts with getting buy-in from leadership, because leadership sets the tone. If you have the correct tone at the top, they'll be able to push that down through all the levels and get buy-in from the rest of the business. Because I've done a couple of transformation projects in the past, and getting buy-in at every single level is really important, because people in general are resistant to change, especially if they've been doing something in a certain way for a long time. It's hard for them to move on from doing what is the day-to-day norm for them. So getting that buy-in is really important. But how do you achieve that? I think from my perspective, one of the key things is just having a very simple thing, a clearly defined plan, set objectives, set goals, milestones, and then you'll have metrics and KPIs to measure along the way to keep you on track. But that's just having a plan there. It helps with the buy-in just because, especially, a lot of people will look at a transformation project and go, it's a little bit uncertain as to what's going to happen. So just having a plan that you can walk through with all your stakeholders is really important. It's like, no, we're on track. This is what we want to get to. This is what we want to achieve. Along the way, you'll need to get cultural alignment, really important. But how do you do that? How do you get XYZ team member to buy into this vision that leadership has said is going to be a good thing for the company? And sometimes that's as simple as just getting feedback all the way through the process. Hearing out all your staff members to see how you can improve the process, because being in a transformation project, a large part of it is needing to be agile. everything is not going to go according to that perfect plan that you may have set up. So you really need to be chopping and changing as you go through that process with all the relevant team members that are involved. And then speaking of team members, the other thing is like celebrate milestones. Every single time you get to a milestone that you've set, celebrate it, make sure that the team knows that they're doing a really, really good job, because transformation projects generally take, a long time to implement. Some can even take a few years. And over that period of time, you might have the buy-in at the beginning of the project, but towards the end of it might be flagging. But if you celebrate the milestones as you go through that process, you're more likely to have continued engagement through the project. And then the last one is like, just build the right team. You need to have the right people leading the way to get broader buy-in from all functions of the business. So you really need people that do want to improve the business. As simple as it sounds, you need people that are energized and positive about bringing in change. These people, you also need to be very, very collaborative. It just comes with their roles. So get the right team, celebrate all your milestones as you go through it, and just have clear, defined objectives. And usually you'll get through to a positive outcome at the end. Yeah, definitely. Finance, I think finance has historically been a reporting function and a controls function. So the office of the CFO is really there to make sure that you're getting your numbers reported correctly, and that you've got good controls in place below the numbers to make sure that they are correct first time, if you simplify it. But going forward, I think the role of the finance team is more to be a business partner, and that is something that's been happening for a few years, but I think needs to really accelerate as we go forward, just because as finance, you kind of get to see a broader picture for what's happening in the business, which gives you, I guess, unique insights or abilities to the ability to get unique insights that can help multiple teams and multiple parts of the business, because you can stitch together things that people that are involved in the day-to-day in a certain department might not see. So I think for finance teams, one of the biggest things is continuing to work on their collaborative skills and being there as a helper for the other teams, as opposed to, oh, we have to deal with finance to just make sure these numbers are right, or finance as a gatekeeper. I think the role of finance is moving away from being a gatekeeper as opposed to being and becoming more of a business partner. Because the other thing is we're moving into a world where we live in a data-rich environment. So most businesses have volumes and volumes and volumes of data. Finance is one of the teams that's going to always have access to this data, but may not currently be using that to its full extent. So data-driven decision-making is really, really important going forward in terms of the finance team being able to take a look at that data, derive insights from it, and then sit down with various parts of the business and try and help them improve their processes, take on board their comments, their feedback, what they want, and then say, okay, the data shows this, maybe we can take these approaches.